It's starting live video, but I feel like I should kind of, like they're all scurrying away here, but I should feel like I should be catching everybody, because we hear things like, I'm going to have another one. Come on, Doreen, have another one.
Hey, everybody.
So,
I'm having another one of these delicious food.
So from now on, I'm going to put it out there that the Bly team is definitely looking to host chefs on Hometown Stories.
Love it.
Because
this
is pretty awesome, because you guys brought. You know when you watch those chef shows and they go, I feel like I should be doing that. This was full about 5 minutes ago. There's not much left now. So tell us a little bit about Creative Creations. So first of all, I just want to say, what was it? Our last anniversary, or was that last year?
Mm-hmm.
They showed up, so some great friends of ours, mutual friends, had hired them to come over to the house, knock on the door, and of course they had said, our friends had said, are you going to be home tonight at 6:30? And I said, sure. And I had no idea what was coming, but you showed up at the door.
Correct.
With this amazing dinner that you had cooked.
Mm-hmm.
And we ate about half of it, and then we took the plate and we went over to the friend's house and we shared it with them.
Shared it with them.
But it was kind of really a neat experience to have this kind of catered, special cooked dinner over brought to the house. So wanted to say, hey, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And I've been at a number of occasions where you had been the chef, and the food always comes out great. So just wanted you to kind of share some of your background.
Sure. I had a catering company. I actually trained under Master Chef for 6 years, nights and weekends, so I worked a full-time job. Then I started a catering company about 10 years ago.
That's a lot of work.
It was a lot. I started a catering company about 10 years ago, and I had a full-time job at the same time I was doing the catering company.
What was your full-time job?
I've been in sales my entire life.
Okay.
Usually corporate sales, advertising, business to business, office essential type products. And it turned out to where I was working 120 hours a week. And I finally
between
burned
a
out.
full-time job and the catering?
And I was doing weddings every weekend. We had a wedding. And I got teamed up with an event place where all they did was special events. And I was their sole caterer. If you went through them and you wanted a caterer, I was the person that was going to be serving you. So I got to point 120 hours a week for so many years. I burned out and I crashed. No more. This past October, friends of ours were getting married, and
Mutual friends,
correct, and
Gladys,
Joel, and it started off where Melanie and I were asked to be the king and queen of the ceremony, which I never heard of, but we were very honored to be asked. And
well, that was because it was at Gail's house.
Correct.
You don't eat on paper plates at Gail's house, by the way.
No, you do not.
Anyway. That just means she only looks to have the best of the best.
And we were very honored to be able to do this for them, but then we're getting to talking, and caterers are not cheap. And so I offered to go ahead and cater the wedding for Joel and Gladys. And they accepted. So.
Very good friend. Don't expect that from them.
Correct. But we did. It was Italian. We also did tenderloin sliders as appetizers. We did all kinds of sauces, bacon jalapeno jam. I mean, from 0 to 100 the whole way through.
I have to just back up and say.
Sure.
Not that I don't want you to talk, but I just want you to say that was probably like the most delicious catered wedding. Squirrels. That was probably the most delicious catered wedding event I'd been to.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it was a lot of fun. But then it got to the point where I was like, well, hey, we kind of need an MC and a DJ as well.
And this was like 2 weeks before the wedding.
Yes, it was 2 weeks before the wedding. So I said, well, I used to DJ and I can talk. So I, with Joel's sister she helped DJ, and then I emceed, catered. I had a team, amazing employees that came forth to help out and put the whole thing together, and we nailed it, and it was a lot of fun.
That's a lot of fun. But
and at the end of the night, everybody out there dancing, the bride, the groom, the mom, the dad, the whole team out there, it was great.
Cool beans. So, as far as today, what kind of events do you like to do? I think you don't care for weddings so much.
You know, I prefer not.
Yeah.
I lean more towards corporate catering.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of like Christmas is coming up, and I want to be booked all through all of December.
Mm-hmm. So when you do corporate catering, that's kind of like corporate parties.
It's corporate parties. It's you know, sometimes it's oil and gas. It's plastics. It's you know, people have employees that they want to take care of, and they want to be, especially around Christmas time. And you know, they may have 200-300 people, and I've done up to 700 people by myself.
So I just want to ask, because it's got to not be like that easy to get hooked up and find your way into these corporate events. I would
No, not at all. Some of it's been just from networking people that I know, and they recommend me and they refer me. Like I said, I've done my largest catering event that I've done is 700 people, and that was with a pretty good sized team. I've done up to 400 people, where I've done all the cooking myself for 400, and then had a team of people to help serve. And I've done it from here to Conroe to. I've actually done one event in San Antonio.
So these days, I would take it this is your only job.
Correct. Right now it is, yes.
You sound like you're looking for another job.
No.
Like going back to the 120 hours a week kind of?
No. So my thing is I tend to do specialty events. I do the things that nobody else wants to do. The things everybody else is afraid to do. It's too big, it's too last minute, it's too complicated, it's, you know, I made a cheese ball for you on night, right? The whole thing is anybody can make a cheese ball. I can tell you put, you know, two bricks of cream cheese, some blue cheese, some green onions and bacon, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you can make a cheese ball.
Right.
But what happens is, at the end of the day, it doesn't all come together until you actually put the final finishing touches on it. You know, that's where the port wine reduction with the salt palmetto honey infusion comes into play. It takes it to a next level.
So I do want to say we had the cheese ball and it was great, right? And this is a concoction you make up yourself.
Correct.
And it does put a finishing touch on it that completely makes it different. And I think, I just know from like when we've been there at the wedding and other times I'd had your food, that's kind of like your flair, right? You take what is a well-cooked meal, but you put a flair on it that makes it.
My food is different than anything you'll ever taste in your life.
Yeah.
It's completely different, and that's everything I do is homemade. All my sauces are homemade. If you want a Caesar salad, my Caesar dressing is homemade down to the sardine paste. I mean, I don't cheat. Nothing comes out of a can. Nothing comes out of a box. Nothing comes out of a freezer. Everything that I do is homemade, 100%.
That's awesome.
All my gravies, all my sauces, my breads are homemade. I make my own bread. I do. The only thing I don't do is I don't do desserts, but I hire that done by somebody that makes it home. That's, you know, that grinds it out in their kitchen as well.
So you've got to super enjoy this, because I mean, cooking's a lot of work.
It is. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. Even in the evenings, you know, we sit there and I get home from work or whatever I've been doing, and Melanie gets home from work, and if I want to relax, I go to the kitchen and I cook something. Or I chop something up. I create a new dish. I make something else up. That's my passion. That's what I love to do. Absolutely.
Very cool. So how long have you been doing the Creative Creations and More?
Creative Creations and More was just born back in October with that wedding. And before I had a taste of the lake. And then,
so why'd you switch it up?
The names?
Yeah.
You mean? Taste of the Lake, I closed it down. That's when I was working 120 hours a week and just got tired, got burned out, and I was just done.
Gotcha.
And so I gave with the clientele that I had. I sold to somebody that I knew was a caterer and that I trusted and had a lot of respect for.
Gotcha.
And so I just let it go. I was done. My time at that time was done.
But that didn't last very long, did it?
No. Yeah, it's in my blood. That's what I love to do. That's what I love to do. That's my passion. That's where I am my best in my kitchen.
Cool. You were telling me about a story you were going to share, and gosh, we were talking, I think about 1 o'clock. Hey, Riley is being nosy. You guys should like call. This is live TV, man, and Riley likes being a star. But Anyway, it was around 1 o'clock or so, and you had talked about a story. I said, I want to hear a funny story. What was that story? Or an interesting story?
It's an interesting story. I guess I'd go with that. This past spring, I got a phone call from an agent, a maritime agent, where so these ships that are out that come into and they come through the channels, they have agents that will basically make sure their insurance is correct, and they set up different types of things for them. And this particular ship was the largest ocean-going tug in the world, and it was a brand new ship. And it got out in the open seas, and when you're out in the open seas, you get cracks in the hull or different types of into some of the tanks, and some of the hoses come, so it has to come in for repairs as the ship is settling.
Right.
Well, they were having repairs done in Galveston, and I got a phone call because they decided it was 1 week before the OTC conference, and it was the Friday before OTC. They decided.
What's an OTC conference?
The Offshore Technology Conference.
See,
brings.
You guys didn't know that. Somebody gave a thumbs up, so I guess somebody knows. Somebody knew what an OTC was.
And that brings tens of thousands of people into Houston that 1 week. And they decided they wanted to throw a party on the back of the ship. So this particular agent knew me. I catered for them for some of their Christmas parties. And they asked me if I'd cater on the back of the ship. And man, I was like, oh, that'd be fun. I can't wait. And about 2 days later, they call me back and say, they were trying to find somebody to coordinate the entire event, and they couldn't find him. I knew I would take it on because it was only 2 weeks away. And I was hesitant, but I was like, okay. I almost said no, but I've never turned anything down yet, so I'm not going to start.
Yeah, I have a feeling you don't turn down a challenge.
No. That's where my pride comes in. That's
where I always get in trouble myself. But that probably never happens.
No. It's got me in trouble before too. Don't get me wrong. But anyhow, so I was like, yeah, I'll take it on.
Okay.
And so 2 weeks away, and then all of a sudden they tell me that, oh, by the way, we want to be environmentally conscious. We have no one-use plastics on this ship. And what you don't think about is that means no saran wrap. No plastic forks, no plastic spoons, knives, no plastic cups. Everything has to be glassware and foiled.
How many people?
It was for over 120. 120, yeah, 120. And so that wasn't the challenging part. The catering part, I was not worried about that. Did not bother me. It was the fact that I had 2 weeks to put together 120 people, all glass. And then they said, oh, by the way, we want a full bar, but the full bar cannot have any alcohol. And so it has to be 0.0 Heineken, a special beer that they wanted. It's a non-alcoholic beer, and it has to be Heineken because they're from Dutch. They're from actually out of Rotterdam.
Okay.
And
all the Dutch people I know drink beer, by the way.
Well, they can't have it on the ship because for liability reasons.
I get you.
Okay. So anyhow, I have to find that. Then they said, oh, another thing. I probably shouldn't say this on. Well. All the servers that we want appetizers we want to be served. We want a bar. When it all came together, I became very good friends with One Stop Party Shop or One Stop Tents and Events.
I'm sure.
And we put 2 30 by 50 tents up on the back of this. Come to the ship, and this ship is massive. I mean, it's massive. 6,000 square foot cargo deck.
Wow.
I put 2 30 by 50 tents, and I didn't. When you do the measurements, what you don't account for is there are certain things that get in the way, different barrels and different this.
Yeah.
So we able to squeeze 2 30 by 50 tents. I had a full bar, found a DJ, no one-time plastics. Everything was glass, and we pulled the whole thing off. The cool thing was, you get to the ship, right? So they have to. You can't all these tent poles and these tents. You can't just take them on the ship because you have to go up the gangway, and the turns are so tight these poles won't go.
Yeah.
So they give us this great big canvas bag that's like this tall, this big around, and this crane. So you put everything in there, and this crane comes down and picks it up goes over top of the water and puts it on the ship.
What an event. So
I'm watching thousands of dollars worth of equipment, and then all my equipment, and thousands of dollars worth of my equipment, all being hoisted up into the sky by this crane to be put on the ship.
Right.
And the crew was fantastic. I got to visit their galley. The captain took me down to the engine room. Got to see the bridge, and it was a really great event. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can understand. That would be that's not your everyday kind of event, right?
No, and that's where
That's one of a kind of event.
and that's what I like to specialize in, those special events, the corporate events, something that other people don't want to touch,
Mhm.
are afraid to touch, or too
Because
complicated.
it's pretty big, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've got holiday seasons and all that
Mhm.
stuff coming on. So if you are looking for business or if you are putting yourself out there right now, so specifically what type of things do you typically do or like to do or would like to do more of?
Of course, the corporate catering. The other thing that we do that is probably the most fun for me is I do cooking classes and wine pairings.
Oh,
all in
that's
the same,
right.
all in the same
You
time.
had said that, and that actually, anytime you put cooking and wine together, that sounds like
That's always a
fun.
good idea.
So when you say you do cooking classes and wine pairings,
Mhm.
so somebody out there listening, to me that means you're going to come to my house. I'm going to invite my buddies, my
Mhm.
friends,
Yep.
and we're going to go through cooking classes and wine pairings with
Mhm.
you.
We're gonna. I bring everybody their own personal burner, a little butane burner,
Oh, cool.
and I bring your little skillets or pots, whatever it is that you might need. And we're gonna go through. We're gonna talk about wine. We're gonna talk about food. We're gonna talk about how to make this, how to make that, how to make whatever it might be. You choose the menu, and then I'll pair it, and I'll bring the wine, I'll bring the food, and we all cook together. And it's a good 3-hour long evening, but it is so much fun.
Oh.
And of course, the best part is I set myself up, and Melanie helps me, and she makes fun of me, and I open the door for her, so little bantering back and forth, and the whole idea is for everybody to have a really good time, learn how to cook something new. I do a lot of sauces. We do different types of steaks. We do seafood. I do vegetables. I can do 3-4 courses in a 3-hour session with you, and
That's
everybody has a good time. It's a lot of fun, and we pair the wine to every single all the courses. I'll bring a wine, and I'll pair a wine to each course, and I'll explain to you why I paired this wine, what makes this wine go with this particular dish. And sometimes you can pair wine, you can pair it to complement the dish, and you can also pair it to where it contrasts a little bit, so you get different flavors, and completely change the taste of the food or the taste of the wine.
cool beans.
Yeah.
So that to me sounds like fun. If anybody was watching or looking,
Mhm.
that especially with holiday seasons coming up, that sounds like just a great have
It's a
people
great
over.
holiday party. Yep.
Yeah. So if anybody was interested in doing that, they would go to creativecreationsandmore.com.
I don't have a actual website, but I have a Facebook page.
So
It's
Facebook page
at Creative Creations and More 2018, or at Creative Creations and More, just at Creative Creations and More. What you're gonna look for is one of my signature things that I do for appetizers is I create a fruit tree, and on our page you'll see, and it looks like a palm tree that has fruit actually spiraled through the tree.
So to
And-
make things easy, we're going to give them the link on here, right?
Okay, perfect. That'd be great.
So you're also going to share this on your page.
Yes.
So hopefully you get some good traction from that.
That'd be great.
And anything else you would like to share?
Man, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Well, so from personal, several. I've been a guinea pig of your cooking several times.
You've been
So-
you have. What do
so-
you think?
Oh, I think, it's not your everyday American meal.
Correct.
So no, I definitely love it. I love the flair that you put to it.
Oh, thank you.
And definitely, to me, a fun time at home would be just like what you said,
Mhm.
something where you invite people over. You do
And you
some
can pick any
cooking, you do-
cuisine, American, Cajun. I love cooking Cajun. And I asked Melanie, I was like, should I bring my trophies with me? Because I win a lot of gumbo competitions. I do a lot of barbecue. We can do American barbecue. We can actually set up outside. We can do things outside
That's
for the
cool.
cooking classes. So
All right. If you guys have any questions, check in, and I'm sure you'll be checking back in to answer
Yes.
any questions that pop
Absolutely,
up. But
sure.
really appreciate having you over here.
Oh, thank you so much.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day.